Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the SBP. It is good to be back. I hope everyone is doing well. We're going to talk about a little week two here and maybe recap some of last week. I'm your boy Prime. So it's business today, but I got my guys with me, man. Welcome back, fellas.
Thank you for having me. Juwan, I'm happy to see you made it.
Yeah. I made it, man.
I was worried for a second.
Nah, I'm here.
Look, there was no need for any of us not to show up. I mean, we all took a L last week. So we just got to face up to it and hope for better things in week two. So, did you get your coffee this morning? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. Got my coffee. I was quickly making that before we started. So happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Juwan, how you feeling, man?
You were speaking for the group. My team had a bye week last week, so
That's interesting because we got the same team.
Yeah, well, your team had a bye week also, so I what you're talking about. But, no, I'm all good, man. I'm all good.
Joel, how about you, my man?
I've been better,
It sounded so sad.
You've been better. I think we've all been better, man. But today is a new day, and we're going to see what it brings, man. Lots to talk about. First of all, before we even dive into that, and we don't have to do a deep dive, but did anybody watch the fight last night?
Oh yes.
I ain't gonna hold you. I fell asleep. That came on entirely too late.
That was a struggle. That was the other fight. Me fighting sleep. That was
I was supposed to go over to my cousin's house to watch it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go over right before the main event." Man, it was getting later and later. I got to text him still this morning, like, "Man, I fell asleep. I'm sorry."
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was like, am I gonna make it? But I made it. Part of the reason, because I was in there working on the show. So I was like, give me a reason to try to stay up and push through. But a lot of these things, man, they not starting until like, midnight, 1 o'clock.
Man,
it's crazy.
I'm all for, this the new way they're doing things now, putting more of these things on streaming services, like, so you ain't got to come out your pocket an extra dollar or find an illegal stream, But and so I'm sure they made plenty. They're getting their money. These deals are being sure to get plenty of money. But man, these main events starting at like 12:30. It's rough.
Yeah, it was a good card too. Like all the fights were good. Like I was happy. I miss boxing, so it was nice to have it back, and I have to pay $1,000.
That was feel is that it feels like that felt like real boxing because you got to deal with all this Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson at 100 years old. Feel like real boxing is still a thing,
Yeah.
People forget because the exhibition shit is easier to get to.
Right.
But
and it's just made it spectacle.
Yeah, it made it an effort to bring it to the forefront. Put it on Netflix is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed. I peeped at some of the undercards. I was so busy watching a couple of college football games on too, so I kind of had my head on a swivel a little bit. But I definitely dove in, man. I actually enjoyed it, man. Shout out to both fighters, man. But definitely shout out to Crawford, man. Interesting to see if they step back in it again, or if that was it for Crawford. We don't know. But a signature victory, man.
Yep.
No doubt. But yeah, man, let's just jump into it, man. Let's go ahead and talk about. We're in week two, but we don't have to talk about week one. I'm sorry, fellas, but understand. I'm with you. I'm with you. I might be a tad bit happier than you guys because my squad lost, but it was a lot of positives in there. I don't know if you guys have anything positive to say, how much positive you have to say about your teams. But Juwan, I saw the reaction, man. Let's talk about these Patriots in week one, man, because I'm not going to lie. They ain't just let y'all down. They let me down because you understand. I'm co-signing with you about these dudes this season, and I really feel it. I think these guys can push for a wild card. I'm telling you, I'm looking at this revamp roster, the coaching staff. I'm looking at this schedule. It's very favorable. I think, and man, that they took that L last week. So you guys ain't got to deal with Source all the time. Like I got to deal with Source. He's not gonna forget this. So if this thing turns ugly, whether you guys are on one of these shows that week or not, if you come through, whatever, I'm gonna have to hear it. I need all the picture things, man. But what? Tell me about last week, Jawan, man. Come
on. Well, as Didge can attest to, the run defense was really good by New England. Harold Landry and Milton Williams have already been amazing. They've already been giving back on what we spent for them. Only reason why last week didn't like it. Don't get me wrong. I was very angry, very, very, very angry. But it didn't make me feel like all hope was lost because I'm watching Vegas struggle to throw the ball at certain points, and that's without our best cornerback. So it's like you imagine in your head you have Christian Gonzalez part of that. It opens things up a little bit more. And Harold Landry is up there with sack leaders. Again, it's just week one. But again, it's been a while since we had that. So, gotta enjoy the small things. Milton Williams is creating a lot of pressure. Our rookie that we just drafted for the offensive line, he struggled, but it was a rookie struggle kind of thing. It wasn't he's going to be a bust. It was Will Campbell, sorry. It was he's got to work through that shit. We can't have big drives be pulled back by you holding and shit. So it's like it kind of left a lot to be celebrated in a loss that looked really bad. And it also helps we're coming into week 2 to a Dolphins team that I don't know. That coach has to be fired like week 2, maybe. Like I don't know.
I don't know what happened there.
So again, what leads more to why me and Didge felt the comfort of feeling like a wild card was possible. It is still a favorable schedule.
Yeah,
if the team can get things going. It is a very favorable schedule. So
this was a game we needed, but
again, exactly. But we didn't say they were going to go undefeated. So
that is also true.
Where they take the losses and where they take the wins still might end up wild card. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why Prime. I was like, hold on, I did see some positives from that defense. I really did. That defense is different than it was last year. Getting Christian Gonzalez back will definitely help a lot. I don't know when the hell that'll be, but
I was hoping it was this week.
I was hoping so too, man. But that's all for me, Prom. I'm sorry. But that's why I kind of don't feel like just paying attention to basketball.
Didge, talk to me.
So outside of everything that Juwan just said, honestly, I do think there were flashes in our offense. Like Stephon Diggs, I think he had 7 targets, had 6 catches.
Yep.
Keyshawn Boutte, I think he had maybe
100 yards.
I know he had over 100 yards, but I think he had, I want to say 8 or 9 targets. So it's like they were catching the ball majority of the time when they needed to. And even in our running game, like we only ran 18 times, but our rookie Trevion Henderson, he had 5.4 yards per rush. That was better than Ashton Genty did. Like, granted, Genty got the touchdown, Genty had more yards, but Genty had more rushes. And I think there are things that our offense was doing that we can build upon. Now, was it week 1 rust? Was it week 1 jitters? Whatever it was, it did feel like there was something missing, and that's disappointing. But I don't think that, especially against a Dolphins team that is in complete disarray, we don't know what's going on with them. I do hope that we can build upon it. Obviously, we're in Miami this week, so that makes it a little bit more tougher. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's any reason to hit a panic button off of this week 1 loss. For all we know, this Raiders team, they could be doing that this year too. So it's tough for me to put everything on a week 1 loss to be like, well, the season's over. Just as if we would have won this, it would have been tough for me to be like, yeah, well, Super Bowl right here, because week 1, you still just don't know. And I think we saw things that you can be happy about.
And real quick, Prime, to add to Didge, you could see it in Drake May. I think, and that's why it's really important not to always throw. And I know, Didge, we had this argument. And now I'm seeing your side of it. You don't always want to just throw a rookie into the fire, because you know what he played like last week? he played like he has the same offensive line he had last year that was letting him die every week. So it's like that one interception, it was fear of I got to get this ball out.
Yeah.
I got to get this ball. So I think he just needs to get more comfortable with the fact that the offensive line is much better than it was last year. Again, just one game, but it does look much better than it was last year. Trust in your guys. Trust that Diggs can get separation, get open. Trust Kayshawn. Trust Pop Douglas. Just trust your guys, you know? And I think the more he gets comfortable in that, he'll be fine. I think he'll be
And give Ramondre Stevenson less touches.
Yes, trade him, honestly.
I mean,
Wow, we putting him on the trade block?
Trade him.
I wasn't super high on him coming into this year. He fumbles a lot, and he was kind of like, I don't think he fumbled at all last game.
No,
but it didn't look great. Like he wasn't.
Also, they need to run the ball more. The only way you can see if he can give you positive, you know what I'm saying? Contributions is to run the ball more.
18 rushes total was just crazy.
Yeah, you can't.
Like you're one dimensional at that point.
Yeah, you can't run that little and then go, we're good, we're out. Like no, commit to it. So.
Yeah, man. Hunter Henry playing today?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm thinking big things for Hunter Henry. That's now I was looking at the matchup for strategic and of course some fantasy purposes here between regular season and a couple of FanDuel hits. I really like Hunter Henry today, so I was just kind of hoping. I thought I saw something on the report that he was he on the injury report earlier this week? I saw they were monitoring something. I don't know what it was, but I guess he's okay.
I think we had a couple guys like Harold Landry was a couple dinks and dunks, but he was cleared. He practiced. So did Hunter Henry. Gonzalez was the only one who did not practice and therefore
is obviously not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you hoping that Miami play the way they played last week.
That's what I'm saying. Like they looked defeated towards the end of that game, so I'm hoping that's like their trend for the season. Like, bro, we defeated.
I will say this, Prom. I got a little nervous. I was watching the Tyreek Hill interview because I was looking to see if he was going to say something to get himself traded. When that man said, "No, it's all about matchups, and this week we feel great, and this might be," I said, "Oh shit!" Oh, I said, "Okay, all right, big dog. Okay, all right."
No Gonzalez. Oh wow.
Okay. No, because he remembers what happened last time he had Gonzalez on him. He didn't really do much, so. Hey,
right.
All right. So it's up to number 7. What's that other corner we got in free agency? I can't remember.
Oh God, wait. Let me go back. I just looked at it.
I thought it was Carl something. I could be tripping.
I was going to say Craig Woodson. That's the rookie.
Yes, that is the rookie.
Carlton Davis. That's what it is.
Carlton Davis. Okay, there we go. He gotta come through. I mean, don't just be letting people talk to us like that, dog. Come on, man.
Very favorable. So I'm sitting there looking at the next 7 games or so, and we were talking about that schedule. Of course, Miami today. Now, the Steelers. We don't know. Like
I truly don't.
Steelers just. I don't know what to expect from the Steelers. To be honest with you, am I expecting what I saw last week every week, or am I expecting it? That was just what it was. But you got the Steelers. Then you play the Carolina Panthers, and you play Buffalo at Buffalo. Woo. Yep. Then y'all go to New Orleans, Tennessee, and then a home game with Cleveland. So
you can string together some wins there.
I'm thinking if this is a team, if the Patriots are a team looking for some positives, and if there's a stretch they can string it, they may be able to string together some wins. That's definitely a stretch.
That Panthers, Saints, Titans, Browns, like that. I skipped out the Bills because it's especially in Buffalo. But we should be that 5-game stretch. In a perfect world, we should be able to go at least 3-2. Two of those Saints, Titans, and Browns are on the road. You never know what can happen when somebody's playing in their home crowd. But we should be able to at least go 3-2. Hey, maybe Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld are arguing one week, and he just throws a dud.
I don't wish that on that man. Don't wish that on that man. Come on, bro.
I wish they have a happy marriage whenever they not playing the Patriots.
Amen.
The weeks that they're playing, they ain't even got to be mad. He could just be annoyed at something. Maybe she asked him to take out the trash or something.
I got the perfect thing, Didge. The week they play the Patriots, let Sinners 2 get greenlit. Let Sinners 2 get greenlit, and we good.
Or you know what? Even on the opposite, I hope he's the happiest because sometimes when you happy, you complacent. Maybe he's super happy. He like man. I
don't know a whole lot that she could do other than cheat on her to make him mad. Have you seen him talk about her?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm like, look, maybe he just get complacent
about her. Is wow. Like I don't know. Outside of her, messing with another dude, I don't know if she could do anything to make Josh Allen upset, man.
Which is fine by me. If he's happy enough that he's like, all I want to do is be at home with her and his football starts slacking. If it's during the Patriots game, I'm cool. That's all I need.
Yeah. Wow, I'm completely with you. But yeah, that's why you don't see that. That's why you don't see that man mad when they don't be making the Super Bowl. He be looking up and seeing her and be like, it's all good.
Yeah, man. So,
and we were they officially out? Ooh.
Yeah. I saw that.
I got him started. Let me go bench him.
Hey, Joel, you got any thoughts about what the Patriots going through, bro?
No, I don't think about them at all. Actually,
he said
you ain't have to say it like that.
Yeah, don't be asking him that. Just talk about the Giants.
I didn't really watch the game. I just saw it was bad for Miami. Whatever happened with Miami, it was like an implosion, which is sad. But like I don't know what to think about Miami anymore.
Was it sad?
It might be time to blow that up. Yeah, obviously. I think it might be time for them to start blowing that up. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really watch the game, so I don't really know. I know they seem to be okay about last week, so as long as they're cool with it, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, they did come out, Miami, saying that they keep stating that they're not trading Tyreek Hill. And that's what they're saying. That this thing can change. We've seen that before. Jerry wasn't trading Micah, told the fans don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So though I wouldn't lose sleep over it. I mean, I don't worry about it. And then what happened? So you just never know. But speaking of last week, I know a game that you did watch, Joel, the Giants, man. The Giants lost a tough one. They lost a tough one last week. But were you able to pull any positives out of that? Like
positives from last week? No, not many. Not many positives. Like, there was positives. I think Wan'Dale Robinson looked good last week. That was one guy looked good. It was probably the only standout from last week. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of positives. I mean, the look. I guess the defense kind of held up a little bit for a while towards the end, and then they imploded. They definitely made it was still like catch upable. I'm not gonna say winnable, but like it wasn't too far away until the very end. Where that last Debo play is really that blew it open for sure. And we couldn't score in the red zone, and we couldn't protect the quarterback. We can't run. We can't protect the running back. Like we can't even like open. There's no run blocking. The run blocking was bad. Pass blocking was bad. The offense was very predictable. So I was like, I think what the most negative is that it kind of felt like last year. And we're like, well, the positives I had going in, which wasn't. I mean, I had positives, but I knew looking at it, like it was not going to be easy. We do have one of the toughest schedules in the league, so it's like you want to show some life and some fight. And like sometimes there were moments where they showed some fight, but it was nowhere near enough, obviously. There was nothing positive to come out of it, unfortunately. So, I guess, and then we lost. We lost one of our inside linebackers for a couple games, so he's on IR now. That sucks. But yeah,
that's what 6 weeks, right? Isn't IR 6 weeks now or something like that?
I think it's 4 weeks.
4, okay.
So he's gonna be out for the next 4 weeks. Now I gotta get it's funny because as soon as he got hurt, they put in his backup and they scored. Right, they went right after the backup and scored. So Mulasau got the.
I did see that. I saw that.
Yeah, that sucked. Cause I'm like, damn. As soon as he came in, they picked on him, and right there they scored. So that sucked. We'll see. I think maybe it's just a week one thing. Abdul Carr looked okay. I mean, the pass rush got there a couple of times, but it wasn't enough. Obviously, it was That is what it is. So it was, again, not much positive to look at.
Man, so speaking of which, so Russ is getting a start again today.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's talking about the performance last week. He was 17-37, I think 168. Carried the ball about 8 times. Well, he had to because he was on the run. When I was watching you guys, I saw some pressure. And I went back and looked at the numbers, and they were saying that last week that Russ was pressured about 37% of his dropbacks. So they were coming. So I don't know how much of that was on Russ. People have been saying Russ has been on the decline for a minute. But you got some folks already clamoring for Jaxson Dart, bro. Already clamoring for Jaxson Dart.
Yep.
How short is the leash for Russ, you think? Because this morning they're saying, hey, they're in no hurry to rush Dart out there.
Right.
But, man, like, I would just wonder, a bad performance today, maybe next week. Like, what do you think the leash is for Russ, and would it be Dart time, you think, in the next couple of weeks?
Well, like I said last week, I mean, maybe I thought at least last week that the earliest it would be against the Saints, because that'd be the easiest matchup. By then, you should know how bad or good you should be at that point. I think that's like week 5, week 6, I think, whatever.
It's 5.
So week 5, so like that's early. So I figured if you're already let's say you lost 4 in a row at that point, you're like, I figured that'd be his easiest matchup. Why not throw him out there for week 5? But I don't know. Like, if they look, it probably might be worse today. Because I imagine this won't be an easy game.
I don't know. I
don't know either. But I have to wait and see. We'll see.
That Dallas pass rush didn't look great week 1, so you got that going for you.
That's why I'll judge my line based on this pass rush. Like, we'll see how they look against the Dallas pass rush. But I want to see life in them. If they come out again and kind of like shit the bed, I could see it happening sooner rather than later. Like, you got to remember, like, they fucking Eli Manning got benched. We have week 2 for week 3 for Daniel Jones, and that was Eli Manning. so like, and that Russell Wilson is a legend in his own right, but he's not a giant legend. This is his first year, and he's more of a stopgap. So like, could it be as early as week 3? If they look like shit, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like it might be too soon. I'm not in a rush to get him out there. I'd rather wait a little bit longer. But if that's what they choose, I mean, I don't know. Just got to sit there and take it and enjoy the Jaxson Dart ride. But, well, look, Russ wasn't perfect. Like, he didn't have the best pass protection, but he also rushed a lot. Like, it looked like he's scared, a little bit. So he's running for his life a little bit, maybe a little too soon.
Like 44 yards from the ground, I think.
Yeah, so like he'd be bailing a little too early for my taste, but he is older and he's smaller. So like maybe
he worried that next hit gonna be his last.
Yeah, you never know, and I get that. So like maybe he's looking out for himself, and I understand that. But like that combined with the bad pass protection, it was not a good look. And they had some moments there, and when they're on, they look good. But like even in the preseason, he looked okay. It wasn't like the best. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not in a rush for Dart to come out, but if he does, if that's what they decide, and then we look like shit, like I'm not going to argue about it.
What's going to make this interesting, man, is again, as we're going over a lot of schedules today, and I'm looking like how you judge the quarterback. You look at what he's going against. So, of course, you do play the Cowboys today, but then next week you have Kansas City.
Yeah.
Got the night game.
Then
you play
a tough game.
That's home game.
Play the Chargers.
Yep, Chargers.
That's going to be
both of those games at home. Then you got the Saints. Saints are the Saints right now. But then you have to deal with the Eagles, that Denver pass rush, and then the Eagles again. Whew.
Yeah.
Now, if Dart gets in there, somebody gets in there, I guess would be Dart's number 2, right?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
He's number 2 right now, and maybe he shines. If he gets in there, maybe he shines, and then even in some, if there's some losses in there, I guess it's a good thing. At least you know what you got and what you're working with.
Right.
But it's just a lot of questions, man. Juwan, you going to say something?
No, I just to me, I'm like I always thought it was weird when Giants went after Winston, then went after Russ, and then drafted Dart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like we've already discussed this. Giants have one of the toughest schedules this season, right? So I'm like, is that the best time to where things look like they're falling apart?
It's tricky.
Russ a rookie into, because like you're not really gonna. I mean, unless look, I could be wrong. Unless he comes in and that kind of adversity he thrives in, I just don't see what good you can get out of that. Because here's the thing: if the offensive line is good, I believe Russ plays a lot better than he did last week. I don't think Russ is just garbage. Because I mean, look, we thought Aaron Rodgers was, even though Didge made a great point, his numbers last year were solid, right? Rodgers' numbers. I'm like, you could kind of say that a little bit about Russell Wilson. It was solid, right? It wasn't phenomenal, but it was solid. So for me, it's kind of just like, I think he can be a solid quarterback for this team. You just gotta protect him better. But it was the same thing we said about Daniel Jones. It's hard to really critique the kid when he's running for his life 85% of the game. So
I mean, look at what Daniel Jones did in Indy when
he
wasn't running for his life.
Yeah, it's like look at that.
Apparently, he's a
So,
we'll see if he's a god today.
Sometimes
There you go.
Sometimes you learn it's not the quarterback; it's maybe the system or the situation. Because we all thought Sam Darnold was hot doo-doo garbage, right? And he went out and showcased. Same thing with
great season last year.
Same thing with Jared Goff, right? So it's like, I don't know, man. It's really tricky nowadays in football because numbers don't really define everything. You got to actually watch the game,
Yeah,
and see what they're dealing with and see what systems they're dealing with. So I don't know. I think if you're the Giants, you might need to hold on to this Russ card a little longer, and maybe go halfway through the season.
I was gonna say, yeah.
You start to pull the card.
Not only just that, so what Prime was sort of saying about you guys' schedule right after that. You are right. That Saints game is probably, if you're going to be like, all right, we're pulling the plug on the Russ experiment, that Saints game is the game that you want to put Jaxson Dart in because he can get some type of confidence. But those next 3 games after that could kill all of that confidence. And once you go to your rookie, you can't go back. Like that's the big thing that I think that they always talk about whenever you have a young rookie who you drafted high, and it's like, all right, well, when is the time? Because when it's time for their era, there's no, okay, we're only putting you in for a game and then we're going to bench you because you're only going to kill their confidence. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, because of how difficult the Giants' schedule is, they're in a very tricky place of when do we do this? Because it doesn't really get any easier after that. Like, after that Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, you still got 49ers, Bears, Packers. And the Bears may not be great, but one thing they always do is have a punishing defense. Yeah. The Packers defense, I know it's on the docket later, they might be the team to beat. So it doesn't get any easier. And I don't know when you do it, but I guess also looking at it, you might just have to at some point throw him into the fire if you're going to see if he's going to fly or burn.
Right. Yeah, it is tricky. It is tricky. I don't know if that's the schedule I would hope to have when I'm trying to decide when to put my quarterback in. I think I'd be a little more confident with the Giants if I had at least a little more confidence in their pass protection.
Yeah,
like I say, if the indicators from last week, if that's what it is, I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about throwing him in that.
And we ran Joel off.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel good. He saw that schedule, man. He said, "Man, I'm out."
Right. He was like, all right.
Honestly, I'm out.
He gonna come back with a Knicks hat.
George, I ain't even worried about the loss. I'm gonna look at the schedule. I'm out, bro.
I knew what the schedule was going in. I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't think it would be this bad, but we're just starting, so maybe something changes.
Joe, I will say this: I do like the shares that were given to the running backs when I was watching. When they could attempt to run the football, I was wondering how much action Cam would get early on. I think he's going to use him in situation, but he probably got a couple more touches than I thought he would get in the first game. So I like the way they divvied up the carries. So I'm gonna be watching to see not only today, of course, today because we'll see that, but from here on out, how they handle that backfield. I think that can turn into a major positive. Tell y'all to figure out this passing situation because I meant to ask you last week. This receiving core, the receiving core. I think I told you last year. I thought like Jalen Hyatt's gonna be a star. Now how to even hear his name.
He wasn't. I don't think he got a snap last week. Maybe one.
That's in there. I mean,
we really played 3 receivers last week, and we targeted really 2 of them. Let's put it that way. I think Slayton got one target, and he was just basically a distraction that they never used.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, he got the one target.
Wow.
So it was. That's how. I mean, when you don't at least try to throw it to the man, when the man was open a couple times just last week, I'm like, he's open. Give him the ball. Let him at least try to catch it. Give him a chance. Wandale got most of the targets, I believe, and he had a couple good catches. He was really good.
Neighbors got the most.
Neighbors did his thing. Dropped a couple, but it wasn't like crazy anything. And Neighbors did his thing. Problem is, there wasn't enough of that. And then the running was terrible. They could barely get through. Cam, I think, got -3 yards. But the times he was out there was very exciting because he played very hard. And in the times that he was there, it's just unfortunate he didn't really get many snaps. Most of it went to Tyrone Tracy and Singletary. But maybe over time that'll change. I mean, they just really did a bad job blocking for the running back. There's no holes there for them to get through. Weirdly enough, I think it was worse than their pass blocking, which is crazy. Which is something I didn't think I had to say. I figured the pass blocking was the biggest issue, but the run blocking was bad last week. It doesn't help that Andrew Thomas is out and is going to probably be out again today. And that's our star left tackle.
That doesn't help at all.
No. He's the anchor of the line, and without him, that middle especially is where it's really weak. Center like John Michael Schmidt is his 3rd year now, and he just I don't know if he's progressing, which sucks. And like Greg Van Roten on the right side, the guard he's old. I like Greg. He's been a good professional, his whole career, but he's getting old. So I don't know. We have some pieces on the bench. I don't know when they'll implement it. We do have a guy we drafted that I do like in Bo. We'll see if he gets out there at some point. But I don't know. There's so many question marks, and I really want to see. I want to see our pass rush shine, but we'll see.
I imagine being Brian Dable and have to. The amount of things he's going to have to deal with this season because we just never know how much. I mean, if he's really on the hot seat or not, because the last year I don't know, and he gets support from inside the organization. But you have to, wonder now just how much the decisions he makes about the quarterback situation plays into his future with this franchise, like his immediate future, I should say.
Yeah, that could be the deciding factor. And when Dart gets in, my job is on the line.
I'm not putting in an unproven rookie. I could see that.
Yeah. Or the opposite. It's like, this is my only chance.
That is also true.
This is my last chance. You're my only hope. But he's going to be the Luke Skywalker. So it's like, or Obi-Wan. But swear to God, bro. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like we got to play. Maybe it was maybe it's a week 1 jitter thing. Like they need time to gel. I don't know. So even though the offense is basically the same from last year, aside from
well, do me a favor. while y'all figuring that out, get your peoples on the phone with Jerry and man, go get me Jameis, bro. I need
Jameis?
I need a backup behind Dak. Y'all look, Didge, Joanne, y'all boy that y'all gave me. I don't know, man. I was happy as a mug when the Cowboys got Joe Milton. After what I saw in that preseason, I don't know, bro. Because it ain't a matter of time. I ain't trying to speak ill on Dak, but it's just a matter of Dak he gonna miss some games.
Dang.
It doesn't matter time, man.
Dang.
I can take Jameis throwing 3 picks in a game. At least I know I'm gonna still have a chance. I
You
don't
think you
know,
have
man.
a chance with Joe Milton?
Your boy Joe got me scared, bro.
I am worried that Russ is gonna end up. If he gets benched, he'll end up getting cut at some point. So you can go find somewhere else to go.
That's
if
a good
there's an
point.
opening.
That's a good point.
And because right now Russ is only for this year. Jameis is signed for 2. He's back. He's the backup. He's signed to be the backup for 2. Now we could end up trading Jameis or something like that for to make room. But I think that would have been if Russ and the team were doing well. They didn't feel like they needed Jameis as much, and you could just run with Russ and Jaxson Dart. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Indeed. So something to watch there. Let's talk about the as Dizzy alluded to earlier, man. The Green Bay Packers, man. The Green Bay Packers come into this thing up 2-0 right now. 2-0, looking good. Teams are, folks are talking about already. Is this the team? Like people were already figuring that this team was on the, was ascending going into the end of last season. You go out, you already have some good defensive pieces. You bring in, of course, a Michael Parsons, who, if you watch those first 2 games, he's a problem.
Very much a problem.
He's a problem. He don't have to touch the quarterback to be a problem. Right, he is a problem. Got quarterbacks running for their lives. Didge, talk to me, man. You closer to that than all of us. What's going on? Is Green Bay that squad, man? What's going on up there, man?
Listen, my dad said this feels like 1996 all over again.
Oh.
If you don't know what 1996 is, I don't think it was the first year that Reggie White got there, but it was the year that it sort of all gelled for them, where they had that dominant defense. They had that quarterback who was playing MVP level, and they rode that all the way to a Super Bowl championship. So you talk to my dad, it's Super Bowl or bust. And I feel like that's most Packer fans. But the way that defense is playing, I couldn't argue with them. I'm like, it sounds like it, because week 1, that Detroit team, obviously they're back. They're all healthy, obviously it's the beginning of the season, so they should all be healthy. But that was a team that went super far. Like that was a very popular Super Bowl pick, and they dismantled them. This Washington team, they were on the up and up. This was fresh off of an NFC championship game. Some people, I think, were dark horse picking them because they had only got better with Debo, and they essentially dismantled them too. Like, I know the final score, I think, was within like 9 points or maybe 11 points. It wasn't that close. Like, if you didn't watch the game and you only saw the numbers, it wasn't that close. And so this team could probably go to the Super Bowl. And I think the way that they're playing, I'd be shocked if they didn't. Obviously, barring any health scares or anything like that. The big thing that I am really happy about is I have demanded a lot of apologies about Jordan Love from a lot of Packer fans. Like you said, I'm very close to this, and I watch a lot of college football, and I watch a lot of random games in college football because it's just typically on in the background while I'm doing whatever. And I saw Jordan Love's 2018 year in Utah, where I think he threw like 30 touchdowns, maybe 6 or 7 interceptions, but more importantly, he was doing a lot of what he's doing right now in Green Bay. Like, obviously, he's doing better right now in Green Bay, but he was doing a lot of that same stuff. And when he got drafted, I was like, oh, you guys develop quarterbacks really well. That's a good base to develop on. He's probably going to be pretty good. Didn't think he was going to be playing this level. This is much better than I thought. But there were a lot of people, especially after the first few starts where, you had the early year struggles. They're all like, oh, see, he's going to be trashed. Somebody in the comments just brought up a very, very interesting point. I didn't know that, and I'm gonna have to go take that back to my dad. Where Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers all won the Super Bowl when they turned 27, and Love turns 27 this year. It kind of feels like the stars are kind of aligned for the Packers to win it all. I know we didn't talk about it last week who our Super Bowl pick was going to be, and I'm kind of glad we didn't because at the time I was going to pick the Ravens, but I do think it's the Packers this year. This is their year. Ooh, you are muted, Prime.
Still muted.
Yeah.
Yep, we cannot hear you.
There we go. Now, it was a fire truck on the tree, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah, they JB brought up a good point. You mentioned that about the Star Farm and Rodgers thing. I think I saw somebody, we were talking about that before, and I guess you count championships as Super Bowls, whatever, and we're pertaining to talking about Bart Starr. But that's crazy right there. That is a crazy stat. And if that holds true,
that's crazy.
Honestly, it feels like it's like that's cheating. Like I might join the people who saying like there's a script if this holds true.
Oh no, you ain't going on the scripted train now.
No, I'm kidding.
Not you too. Yeah, you saw earlier my man Liddy talked about Green Bay could be going all the way for real. It's so early, but it has that feel. That this team is crazy. You mentioned the defense. I think they already have 8 sacks through 2 games. They've only given up 3 total touchdowns between the two. I mean, this is something serious. And they put a number on the Detroit Lions, which felt like it was even worse than it was.
Right.
And Detroit's got some issues, I believe, and we don't know how that's going to pan out between losing, what they lost. So we don't know if it's the same team or not. But it was Detroit. I mean, it's Detroit. So, you think about last week, that defense, I was looking it up, and I don't have it in front of me, but I remember, of course, St. Brown, less than 50 yards receiving. They held,
Don't talk to me about him.
Then the thing that really got me, they held the combination of Montgomery and Gibbs under 50 yards rushing total.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. If you think about that Green Bay, we know about the offense. You know about Love. About Jacobs. Golden. People think he's going to light it up. They got a plethora of receivers. Romeo Doubs. They have Watson coming back. They just gave him some money, and I don't think he's even
took a crap out of the game last week.
They lost Reed, of course. That's big, but still, Kraft. Yeah, you mentioned Tucker Kraft. Excellent, dude. Yeah, Tucker Kraft out there looking like a top 5 receiver. And we'll see if this continues because you remember he had a couple of big games last year, and then he kind of evened out a little bit, but he's capable of doing that.
Yeah.
But that defense, they have 8 sacks already. We're talking about Parsons, but you're talking about Quay Walker. You're talking about Rashawn Gary. You're talking about McKinney lurking back in that secondary. You're talking about solid, man. And it's early, but it's scary, man. It's really scary.
To your point about the defense, the biggest thing that I remember talking to just all of my friends who are Packer fans, and specifically my dad. I talked to my dad about the Packers the most, just obviously because me and him, that's like 90% of our talks is just football. So, but his biggest thing when Micah got traded, it wasn't even the excitement of how well Micah was going to do for Green Bay. It was that, Rashawn Gary's not going to get double teamed because he was getting double teamed a lot last year. Like that was their premier sack rusher. Like that was their premier, just coming off the line, going towards the quarterback. So the teams knew who they had to go against. Now you can't do that. And we're starting to see that. Like, I think week 1, he had maybe 2 sacks. I can't remember how many he had against Washington. But the thing was, he was in their face. Because they knew they couldn't ignore the other side. Now it's like, well, who's the bigger problem here? And obviously that's Micah Parsons, but Rashawn Gary is no slouch. Like that. So like, it's scary. That defense is scary.
It is.
Yeah. Joel, what you think about Green Bay, man?
I think it was Joel. Who was it that said last week? they had Jordan as their MVP. It was you, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna be cautious about this, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's giving me 49ers vibes.
Ooh.
It's giving me 49ers vibes where it's all there, right? All there.
Hey, don't do my state like that.
No. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's all there. It's ready for you to hoist the Lombardi. But then at the end of the day, Tom Brady Jr., Patrick Mahomes, right there to stop you every single time, right? There's a reason why 49ers have not yet been able to hold that thing. So for me, I kind of just see it to where it's like even you guys telling me how great the defense is, seeing how great I did see some of that Thursday game, seeing how great that defense is. We've only really been able to see a defense stop Mahomes last year against the Eagles, that year against the Buccaneers, and then that year Cincinnati stopping them from going to the Super Bowl. That's 3 times. That's just now. It says it's possible, but it's like, do we really feel like betting against Patrick Mahomes is the way to go? I'm just saying. I'm not there yet. They look really good. Last year was a good start to where they're heading now. I think it might be a next year kind of thing, right? Another year older of Patrick Mahomes, maybe things start to look a little bit differently. Maybe they lose key pieces because, all the money's not there. But I don't know. I'm not ready to crown him yet because I swear, every time I feel like I'm ready to crown someone new, Mahomes just takes another breath, right? Now, we all celebrated Philly last year. We hate Philly, but we needed Mahomes to be stopped. So it's like, can Packers do it? Can the NFC do it again? I don't know, man. I don't know. Gotta say a little bit more.
But so you agree, but do you agree that at least on the NFC side, they could be the team in the NFC possible?
I'm also not sure because I'm like, again, we were saying in that Eagles game, right? They didn't look the greatest, right? But then again, they weren't even really targeting AJ Brown. They were doing a lot of things that were just like, that's not you. What's going on? So I'm like, I don't know. To me, that team just won the Super Bowl and they didn't get worse. So I'm like, I kind of look at them and I'm like, there's still who you have to go through. So I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that immediately jumps on this Packers train, and then by like week 10, week 11, we're kind of just like, remember all that shit you were saying, Juwan? So I'm like, I'm gonna just, let's see.
You know what we could know for sure then? They play the Eagles in November.
Okay.
I think it's in Green Bay, so that you could take a little bit off of that, but still. That's when we'll know.
Yeah, that's a great test right there, even though we'll have to see how that game goes, because I can't tell you how many teams beat the Chiefs in the regular season, can't beat them in the postseason.
That is fair, but that goes a long way of obviously determining home field and everything, but just also confidence. Like if it's a dismantling of the Eagles in that game, or if it's a dismantling of the Packers in the other game, in that game, like in the same game, whoever comes out of that, they're going to feel a lot more confident on like, we are the team to beat.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I still hold value in you just won the Super Bowl. So until you're eliminated, the value still should be high. I mean, unless they start having a losing record or something or fall apart. As long as they still look good, I think the bar should still beat them till they're knocked off or till they start to fall apart. So that's why I'm like, I'm still, I just like to give that respect, so. But it's nothing against Green Bay. I would love for that to be the case because they need to be investigated. How that team always ends up with a generational quarterback should be studied.
It's their system. Like I said, as somebody who just sees it from the outside looking in, they do it smart. And Tom Brady talked about it, how quarterbacks just aren't developed in college anymore. Right. But they're also not really developed in the league. Think about it. We're already talking about Jaxson Dart having to come in and start. Like, Love sat for years under Rodgers. Rodgers sat for years under Favre. Now, Favre, they just got lucky because Don Majkowski was not somebody who Favre needed to sit under to be a star. Like, let's be honest. Like, but it was with the start having Favre, they had somebody who was able to throw them into contention every year. With Rodgers, he was able to throw them into contention every year. So their predecessors was able to sit underneath them and learn. And that goes a long way in being able to be a star yourself.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, you talking about that schedule too. As another one, you're talking about that Eagles matchup in November. To me, their schedule is favorable. I mean, you got the Browns coming up. Again, you got the Cowboys. We don't really know anything about the Cowboys for real right now. The Bengals is very, very interesting. That's going to be that's in October. That's next month. I can't wait to see that. I hope both parties are healthy.
They're coming off a bye with that too, so that should be better for them.
So that's after the bye?
Yeah, that's after the Packers bye.
Man. Then you have, of course, the Cardinals, winnable. Steelers is winnable, but hey, we're going to get Love and hopefully Love and Rodgers are both under center at that time.
Yeah.
No injuries. Then you got the Panthers before you get to the Eagles. So very good chance for the Green Bay Packers to have a solid record based on that schedule. If they're clicking.
The Panthers game could be a trap game, huh?
Which one?
The Panthers game right before. I ain't putting that much faith in Bryce Young though. So,
you know what's funny? We're talking about this team and this division and all the things that have transpired in this division this year before the season. And in that stretch that I just named, there's no division games in that stretch. None. So we're talking about, this thing shaking out, that division possibly shaking out, unless they just take it by the horns and just start running over people early. There's going to be a crunch towards the end of the end of the season, where you're getting in the games with the the Bears and the Vikings and and all that. So that's going to be interesting. That whole divisional race is going to be crazy.
It's I'm looking at their schedule now from weeks 12 through 16. 4 of those 5 games are divisional games. So they go Minnesota at Detroit versus Chicago. Then they go to Denver. Then they go to Chicago again.
Whew. Interesting.
Their last like week 12 to the end of the season is crazy. Like I said, obviously those 4 of the 5 is divisional, with Denver thrown in. Then they go Baltimore and then end the year against Minnesota again.
So you think about this, y'all. So let's say they're as good as some of us think they are, and say they've got a stranglehold on this division. Let's just say, all right, so they're up. Even then, with them, they're going to have a lot to say about the second place and third place finishes in that division, in which I've seen some projections. I've seen projections where they've had 3 teams in that division making the playoffs. All right. And I don't think it's crazy. If you really look at the way things are going, and it's only week 2, but the talent in that division, and then some of the problems some of the teams are facing right now, like the Niners, uncertainty with the Rams, the quarterback, health situation, is there going to be more than one team out of the NFC East? It's not crazy that division could end up with 3. I saw one of the guys on NFL Network said all 4 were going. So we're gonna see, but I'm just telling you.
I ain't putting that much faith in the Bears. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
That's gonna tell us a lot today.
Hey, Prime, I had a question.
Yo,
where's your where's homeboy that was barking all that 49ers talk last week that said, we'll see on Dig and Jawan's Patriots making the wild card? Because I believe, Prom, now correct me if I'm wrong, not a football aficionado, but I believe an ex-Patriot quarterback is now their starting quarterback for the next 3 to 5 weeks. Am I wrong there, Prom?
Yeah, that is true. And I know
I feel for them. I ain't gonna hold you. I feel for them.
we don't feel for him because when we said wild card, not Super Bowl, just wild card, he laughed and then said, I will remember this for when that does not come true. So I'm just saying, is 49ers even making the playoffs? You know
He
what
got
I'm
a
saying?
slew of injuries, man. I did see. I think Jawan Jennings is going to play. Somebody else is going to play.
Oh, they said he is going to play. I saw last night. I saw he was still questionable.
I thought. Now, don't
Juwan
quote
Jennings.
me on this. I thought it flashed on my screen while we were first started that he was expected to play. But
okay.
Then again, I don't have my reading glasses on, so I might have saw that.
I didn't look yet. I'm about to go look now.
Missed, and again, I might be wrong here, but you might have also missed. Even with all their injuries, they have a marquee signing that they had that's going to change everything. They brought in Kendrick Bourne, right?
I did see that.
Season there. Kendrick Bourne, Mac Jones, the reuniting. That should make the playoffs right there.
I did see that. Juwan Jennings is starting or is playing, and Trent Williams.
Real quick, did you see we made a trade, right?
Yeah, didn't we give up Jalen Polk for like a draft pick?
A box of Skittles, yeah, for sure. Some smoke.
Isn't he hurt? Like I thought you couldn't trade a player that's hurt. Is that just a Madden thing? I can't remember.
Technically, so they did a workaround because remember, they never put him on injury reserve.
Okay.
So apparently they said the trade is for what they believe Jalen Polk can be.
Okay.
So they were very interested in this trade. So now it opens up our wide receiver room even more because we're trimming down.
I couldn't remember, and like I said, I was like, I swear, maybe that was a Madden thing, and I was just misremembering. But I swear you couldn't trade injured players. That just seems crazy.
You're not supposed to be able to, but I think they had a workaround.
Interesting. Hey, Joel, you got any thoughts on Green Bay? I know we didn't
rather have Martinez.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you were riding the love train.
I don't know if you noticed last week, but I was pretty high on them.
Yeah.
I figured I had Love winning MVP. I had parts of winning Defensive Player of the Year. I did not have them winning the Super Bowl. I did have them going to the Super Bowl. I didn't have them winning the Super Bowl. I figured I had the Ravens winning the Super Bowl, but after last week, I still think they can make it. Well, they win it. That's that's all.
I ain't gonna hold you. Last week shook my faith in the Ravens.
I know. The Ravens are. I don't know.
It ain't even that like they're not talented enough.
They're fucking great.
I just worry now in one-score games late. Like they can't close up games.
Yeah, if you go to the last few years, there's a trend there. If you really do,
it is.
Especially in the playoffs. But
yeah, and that's just becoming worrisome. Like I thought they got over that, and so in order to see that week one immediately,
I know. It shook me. I was like, last week was funny because like I during that game, watching the Packers play well, I was happy. Like, great like that. And then but my thing was they played the Commanders, so I was like, all right, well, either the Commanders' defense is really good, and we just, maybe they're just so much better than I thought they would be, or we just are bad. And it just turned out, Green Bay smoked them. So I was like, all right, so maybe we're just bad. But my thing, but also like seeing the Ravens collapse at the end the week before, it also gave my Super Bowl pick. I'm like, oh fuck, man! I really thought maybe this is the year that the Ravens can get there and get over the hump. And obviously, I don't. Now I'm definitely worried about that. But at least Green Bay came out looking good. I still think Green Bay is the team that can get there. I was very high. I was high last week. I'm still high this week. As long as they stay healthy, I think they still have a chance. Obviously, they already got one injury, but that shouldn't be enough to derail this team, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah, man. That game, the other night. If you're gonna start the season, you start off with games like that, and they live up to the hype. But yeah, like I was saying earlier with the Ravens, man, it's I don't know. We can go back for the past few years. There's always a quarter or a half or there's a couple of plays that we got with Zay Flowers either dropping a pass or fumbling. Like it's something, and you start the season the way they started this one, blowing Buffalo out of the water. Source came on the page and was like, they're gonna beat the brakes off of Buffalo. And then he came back on and he said, okay, said what I said, you can't tell me honestly, even though they lost, the Ravens weren't beating the brakes off of Buffalo.
They were. They started.
And that's the crazy part. He was right for like 45 minutes of the 60 minutes of the game.
It was like,
He was right.
yeah, it was pretty one-sided for a while until it wasn't. Which is crazy.
It's something else.
It's
man.
worrisome, and at some point you got to start looking at Harbaugh like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's been
Like,
a couple years now. So it's like,
yeah.
So you're like, are you the answer? Yeah, that's one
Right.
of those things. Yeah.
At some point,
They're the team that has Jair Alexander, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Ravens.
for some reason, I wanted to see he's in the Steelers. But
Yeah,
you
no,
probably
he-
are right.
no,
Sanders in Baltimore. He's out again this week because he's still rehabbing
That's
that
Ramsey
knee.
with the Steelers.
That's right.
But he should be back soon. I think that's going to help a lot because a lot of those deep balls that Josh Allen was just flinging around there, you got to kind of think Jair is going to help with that, like a little bit, maybe.
You would hope.
I hope so.
To me, I think the biggest problem Baltimore has, I don't think they have. See, the only reason why I don't think they have a coaching problem is that usually a coaching problem attributes not to close losses. It attributes more to just you completely falling apart through the course of multiple games. I think their problem just seems to be the Bills and the Chiefs.
No, they kind of fall apart. They kind of fell apart.
Like in the Bills game, or you just mean period?
In most of these losses, when they're up and they start giving the game away, both sides of the ball just sort of falls apart.
I mean,
And
'cause
it-
last year, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say because last year in the postseason, that was just like that's drop balls. That's not really like a coaching issue. That's a player mentality. So I'm like, they very easily could have won that said game if people were actually catching the ball. So I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a personnel issue, but when I think of a coaching issue, I think of a coach losing their locker room. That's a Miami issue right now. I don't think that's a Baltimore issue. I think they still play hard for Harbaugh. And I think he still has what it takes to coach them to a Super Bowl and win it. I think you just got to get your personnel better. You can't have guys dropping the ball. Didn't Derrick Henry fumble?
Yeah.
I don't even know this man to fumble like that. Like so many things, just like a personnel issue. You can't that's not a coaching problem.
No, that's fair.
Derrick Henry fumbling the ball. I mean, so for me, I think if anything, what we learned from that is Buffalo has to get better on the run. But then again, they don't play many running backs that are Derrick freaking Henry. So I think they'll be fine. But I think if you're the Ravens, I think when you get that high of a score, I don't think you need to try to then pile on. I think just play not to lose, right? And I think maybe they were taking too many shots. And that defense that we were looking at just a year ago is probably one of the league's best defenses. Shouldn't be crumbling as much as they tend to crumble. Especially like that. Like, I think they showed but they showed the view of the Ravens up 2 or 3 touchdowns with like 3 minutes and 44 seconds to go and lost it just like that. And it's just like, dog, you should get a stop somewhere in there.
They were a team last year defensively that probably played better towards the end of the season. There was a time at the beginning of the year, I remember last year they were struggling a little bit, mainly in that secondary. But they definitely started to play a little bit better towards the end of the season, which helped prompt the run that they went on. But I agree, Juwan. It's I don't know. They a lot of these things, man, they're just doing to themselves. It's like one play, 2 plays, one particular, look like they're about to run away with it, as you mentioned with Derrick Henry. Then he puts the ball on the ground, and you saw what happened.
Did Hamilton come back? I know I saw him go down with injury, and then I just don't remember them saying his name for the rest of the night.
I don't remember if he came back in. I don't remember seeing it.
Because that is a huge loss for them. There are obviously other reasons, and I think somebody in the comments brings it up perfectly. It's just like what Juwan said. It is probably a lot more on player mentality. But I don't know if I fully agree that it's not a coaching issue, because I do think a good coach is supposed to be able to not necessarily break through it completely, but at least hype it, sort of level it out. And the fact that it keeps happening again, it feels like their mentality like whenever it goes to the dumps, it just sort of stays there. And I don't know if they're just not listening to him or if he's not trying or whatever. But it doesn't seem to be like he's helping it, I guess is the best way to put it.
I guess my only pushback to that would be, I think we have a better example of what you're explaining. And I think a better example of what you're saying is what we keep seeing happen in Cincinnati. That's a coaching issue. That's what I'm saying. Because, like, think about it. Their low is, like, not making the playoffs.
Right.
Baltimore's low is not making the Super Bowl. Right? So I'm like, to me, yes, that might mean, like, you know what, Ditch? It might be, maybe Baltimore's facing what maybe Prime and Joel, you guys can speak to this also. Maybe Baltimore's facing what we think the Knicks were facing, right? Is to where you got a coach, phenomenal coach, that can get you to the door. They can't get you through the door, right? Yeah. So maybe that's the case, but I don't think that's a coaching issue. I just think maybe the team has aged past the coach, and maybe it's hard for the coach to keep up with where things are going. But I don't think that's an issue because I don't think the coach is why you're losing games. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to Cincinnati, you can't keep trotting that team out with no offensive line and an extremely shaky defense. That's a coaching issue.
That's fair.
Maybe he's lost his voice. Like, you know, they just, like you said earlier, I think it's just, maybe his voice isn't carrying the same way it used to. It's just not enough anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But even in you saying that, Joel, look how close they were to a Super Bowl appearance just last year.
But it feels like every year. They just can't get over the hump. It's like,
yeah.
But that doesn't. Again, that's not enough for certain franchises. Yeah,
it's one or two plays, or
in
some instances maybe refusing to change.
That's why I chose them to get there and win it this year. I mean, they're right there. Like.
Yeah, but okay. You know what, Ditch? I take back what I said, and I apologize. Maybe I look at coaching issue wrong, because I look at coaching issue as like, and I'm just using you as an example, Joel. I look at coaching. Actually, no, I don't even have to use you. Bill Belichick. That was a coaching issue.
Like all those last years.
Yeah, that was a coaching issue. We were losing because of Bill.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Stubbornness can cost you.
But I'm saying I don't know if that's the case in Baltimore. I don't know if that's his stubbornness because, again, I don't know. The greatest coach in the world doesn't fix a player fumbling. Doesn't fix Andrew.
No, you're right.
Taking the ball. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't.
I mean, you can get a wide receiver coach in there and be like, "Yo, put him through catching drills."
maybe. But again, that could be a high pressure situation.
Yeah, true.
No amount of coaching can fix a high pressure situation. Just getting to a guy.
Yeah,
that seemed to be a Mark Andrews thing. So that's what I'm saying. But maybe I'm just looking at it wrong, and I can step back and accept that. I just know I'm seeing glaring coaching issues.
No, I do get what you mean. Like,
is that.
When you hear coaching issue, you immediately go to lost the locker room, the team's going down in the dumps, and I think
like a lot.
I think it's because of what the expectation is for the Ravens. Like we said, they've gotten to the doorstep year after year after year, and they just can't walk through the door. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a playoff or bust mentality isn't enough here. You know, we are looking for better things where, you know, if a New England, like right now, if we made the playoffs and we lost in the same fashion as Baltimore did last year, we're going to end that season. Man, got close, but that was something we needed. We needed that. Whereas Baltimore, they're going to be like, we got close once again, but we should have been there, and that's what it is.
Okay.
Indeed, and they're always a team that's knocking on the door and can't get over the hump, but a team that has gotten over the hump quite a few times in recent years would be the Kansas City Chiefs. They go into today's game against the Philadelphia Eagles, so we got a rematch of the Super Bowl. Of course, we know Philadelphia beat the brakes off in last year's Super Bowl. But now the Chiefs are in danger of falling to 0-2.
Oh my God.
So is this a must-win game, Joel, for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Not if you're mentally strong. And we're just talking about mentality. No, I don't think it's a must win. But like, if they feel like this is the do or die for them, like if we lose today, we're dead. So we might as well just blow the team up. That's fucking crazy. But no, I don't think it's a must win. I think they have to at least play hard and not get the their ass whooped. That's what they gotta avoid. That's what you don't want to get embarrassed. But if they play hard and they get through and they just can't get over the hump against the Eagles again, obviously then they have to look deeper and think to themselves like maybe we got to make a move to get over that hump, which is the Eagles for them. But if not, then like just play it out. It's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and the Chiefs, Andy Reid. Like they've been there, they've done that. I don't think starting 0-2 should shake them. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think so. The 0-2 thing, and I know people make a big deal about it if they do. I don't know why anyone would doubt the Kansas City Chiefs, even if they were to fall 0-2. Something they haven't done, in the Mahomes era. But still, we've doubted them. Well, not me, but folks have doubted them the last 2 to 3 years. The last couple of years, especially when they weren't playing well during the season and they find themselves in the Super Bowl, right? But and its history would still be on their side. We've had some teams start the season to go 0-2 and still make the playoffs. You guys
3 and won the Super Bowl.
You guys won the Super Bowl against. Well, I ain't gonna say. Folks on here already know. Yeah, I won't go bring it up, but it's what it is.
I'm just bringing up an example. 0-3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you've had 9 teams over the past 10 seasons to start out 0-2 and at least make the playoffs, right? So we've seen that as recent. We saw the Texans do it, and back in 23, the Bengals. The year before that, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. Remember after they started the season 0-2, then you had the Texans, the Seahawks, Saints, Dolphins, Texans, Seahawks. You go back to 2014, where the Colts did it. Right, so making the playoffs is not an impossibility if you start the season 0-2. Then we've seen teams, of course, that have started 0-2 and go on to win the Super Bowl. We saw, of course, in 2001, the Patriots did it back then. Of course, the Giants, they did it. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys back in 93, they did it. Started 0-2. That was when I guess they didn't have Emmett. Emmett was holding out, and they went in there about to break Jerry Jones' door down in his office to give that man a contract after losing to Washington. I believe it was a Monday night game. And, of course, the Cowboys went on after that to win the Super Bowl. But you can still make it to the Super Bowl starting 0-2. We've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is very interesting. Diz, what you think, though? This a must-win today?
No. I mean, it's week 2. I'm looking at their schedule. Their schedule is not that it's not super, super difficult. Obviously their division is tougher than I think it has been in prior years. Like we talked earlier about Denver's defense. Clearly the Chargers is going to be an issue against them. They do have some more adversity they're going to face this year, but it's week 2. They go against the Giants next year. Next week. No disrespect, Joel, but
they're going down, baby.
That's I feel like if they go 0-3 and that's the third loss, that's probably where it's time to worry.
They should probably blow it up at that
point. That's when you start being like, yo, hold up. What's going on this year? But losing to an Eagles team who obviously we just finished debating whether or not they're the best team in the NFC. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. It is what it is. Your early schedule was a little bit more difficult than you probably would have wanted it to be. So it is, like I said, it is what it is.
We can't hear you, bro.
Oops. Sorry about that. My man Liddy, the resident KC fan, had just said that this will be the first time that Mahomes has ever lost 3 in a row. So that's dating back to the Super Bowl, of course. So
interesting.
That's going to be interesting.
Should be fun.
That's going to be interesting. Joanne, is it a must-win?
No. Whether Kansas City is first or wild card, they still have the ability to run the gauntlet. So, no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because there's no way this team doesn't make the playoffs at all. So at worst, wild card. At best, they could still, pull out like middle of the pack. But either way, like to me, it should scare you if this team ends up wild card and you're like, and you have to face them that early. Because then if Kansas City can knock a team out that early, it's smooth sailing through the rest of the AFC at that point. You'd have to imagine, right? So for me, I'm just like, no. Whether they're the top or the bottom, as long as they make it in, they can still run the gauntlet. So no, it's not
interesting. Interesting enough, as we again go over another schedule. If we look, if no matter how they finish today, let's just say they go 0-2, right? They go 0-2. Their next few games, dang, sorry, Joe, they play the Giants.
That's what I'm saying. 0-3. 0-3 is the issue you have to worry about here. That's what you need to be thinking about.
I
Giants.
I disagree. I disagree there, but it's mainly because I look at the Giants. I'm gonna assume differently. I think that front line, because me and Joel talked about this, if you play that front line together 1,000% more than you did last week. I mean 1,000%, not 5%, 1,000% more. That defensive line can give Pat Mahomes the fits. I mean the actual fits. And then it then comes down to, can your linebackers and your DBs do their job after that? But I think they can make the game hard. I don't know if I'm willing to say they'll beat the Chiefs, but they'll make it difficult.
I don't see it. Again, no disrespect.
Again, though, to Joel's point, they didn't play that front line together a lot of snaps this past week. And that's a really front line.
That was a weird choice.
You say you don't think it matters? So you think Dexter Lawrence, you think Burns, you think Tibbs, you think Vader? You don't think those guys playing together 100% of that game doesn't make more of a difference?
I don't think the Giants have the talent.
Wow.
I think the line is fine. The front line is fine.
But and that's probably true. But outside of that, I don't think they have the talent to match.
I think the problem comes in there is, and I think all you guys are actually correct. I agree with Juwan about, I do think they have the front line to give them a problem. The question is it going? Do they have enough offensively? Not that Kansas City has been winning a lot of games, even last year, by blowing folks out of the water, putting up a lot of points. You see what I'm saying? Right. But and especially with their injury concern, their injury concerns on top of the fact that Rashid Rice is serving as suspension.
Right.
But still, do the Giants, I don't care if it turns into Harrison Butker kicking 4 field goals. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The Giants have enough to, I mean, can the Giants score more than 20 points against them? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I could see a world where even if the Giants lose, right, it's no more than a touchdown. And the reason why I say that,
I can see that.
Yeah, if you can get that offensive line to just manage, right, just manage to where Russ can see a few clean pockets. I don't believe in Kansas City being able to stop Malik Neighbors, especially if you can move them around and you don't keep them just wide. You can move them around, do a lot of different packages for them. I can see a game where they make it difficult for Kansas City. Now, again, I don't have stock in the Giants. I'm not betting money on that game, so I don't have interest. I'm just saying, I did see some positive things to take away from that game, and I see a lot of where they went wrong. So if they can fix it, and we'll see today, they can fix it. I mean, I'm just saying. I think they can make it difficult for Kansas City. That's it. That's all.
That's fair.
Yeah, you look at the rest of that schedule, man.
Did you say I don't?
I said I hope so.
Oh, I don't.
I'm gonna say, damn, dog, don't let me ride harder for you.
I was like, hey.
Now the Chiefs, after that Giants situation, they do have to tangle with the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
They will be playing the Detroit Lions, which we're trying to see what type of team the Lions is this year. The Raiders, the Commanders, and then Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Don't get easier.
that is definitely a stretch for them. So now, and Mahomes is going to have to rely on Juju, Hollywood Brown.
What do you do? I don't know, Brian, good game.
Kelsey, maybe an occasional sneak touchdown from a Noah Gray or someone that we don't talk about that much. But I mean, if there's a team that can do that in a lot of these important games, that is the one team that they can do that. Yep. They can do that. So, but I think we all agree it's not a must win, but it would be with that schedule they got coming up. It would be a whole lot better for them if they could actually find a way to win this game today.
For sure.
It's a nice safety blanket if they can get.
And for me, just in Joel, we don't mind somebody else in the division catching the L. I mean,
I mean,
ain't hurt.
I'll be cheering for the Chiefs today.
Let's go, Andy. Yeah, man. I don't know if you guys got any thoughts. Anything that caught your eye last week? The one thing that I mentioned, I think I let you guys know, was I put in the group text was that Jaxson Steelers game last week. Like, when did you tell me that we were going to have a 34-32 game when the Jaxson Steelers involved? Whew. That's usually one of those 19-16s. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 17-13. Somebody might get 20. Okay, that's a stretch. We're talking 20-16 or something crazy. 34-32 in that game. Aaron Rodgers, 4 TDs.
Aaron Rodgers turned the clock back.
Yeah, he did his thing. And then even Justin Fields in that game, he only had 1 passing TD, but he ran for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They were putting up numbers that's pretty positive. I felt pretty bad for Aaron Glenn because I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn. I know you guys don't care about the Jets, but not a Jets fan, but I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn. You feel me? But to me, that had to be one of the craziest things of week 1 to see those 2 teams score that many points.
I'm just saying, Prom, somebody here, I don't snitch, but somebody here told me it was going to be real difficult if all you had to do is throw to DK Metcalf. It didn't look to be a problem. It didn't look to be a problem at all.
That was
I didn't see that defense being that bad. That defense is putrid.
that was just week 1.
I mean, I had envisioned. Hey, look, Juwan, I had envisioned the world for the shortest of times when there was talk of them acquiring DK Metcalf. I was like, DK and Pickens might not be bad though, for real. Like that right there. When the last time the Steelers really had some real receivers? Like let's be honest.
Well, we know it was Brown. It was Juju. It was like that was the last time, and that didn't even last long.
Nah, and I'm like, whoa. And then of course they never played together. So I definitely question, because remember I said last week that honestly, once you get past Metcalf, I'm looking at your boy Jonnu Smith taking that job, and Jonnu caught some balls last week. Like I'm talking about him taking the job from Fryer. They put him in there right away.
Mm-hmm. So. Yep. And I look, Fields is going to be great for the Jets. All right. To me, I think we need to calm down. I think that game was just more so the Jets defense is not what we thought. The Pittsburgh defense is not what we thought. That's really all it came down to. I mean, now where I'll give Fields credit is if that Steelers defense plays damn near a shutout game today, then you can kind of go, maybe it was just Justin Fields. But to me, it just looked like 2 bad defenses and 2 really good offenses, but 2 good offenses because the defenses were so bad. So, I mean, like –
Steelers defense to be a monster. If they can't do anything else, right? And they got
to be fair with their defense today, it's going to be tough to fully judge it because Steelers got 3 starters out.
Oh, see?
So you got to you might have to wait till next week.
They were healthy last week?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, Didge, I'm not ready to – and again, you can call it hate, and I wouldn't argue it, but I'm not ready to say Fields is going to be great for the Jets. You'd be out.
Man, that Jets situation just for –
it's also still like, fuck the Jets.
Just for whatever fantasy purposes, whether it's daily fantasy, whatever, that has the potential to be a fun game. And when I say that, you know what you're going to get from Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
If Fields comes out here and plays, I don't care if Fields don't throw but for 180 yards, right?
Yeah.
But the potential of what he could possibly do on the ground, just playing the numbers here, like that could be a fun game, numbers-wise. It really could be a fun game.
Yeah, I tell you what, Josh Allen can't come out. Look, again, if we're supposed to believe anything of what we saw the Jets last week, Josh Allen can't come out here playing slow like he did against the Ravens. You can't come out here slow and then just expect to turn it up when you won. Because Fields looks like he kind of just has command of the field. He was kind of getting everything he wanted till the end of the game, you know. That was beautiful to watch, by the way. I think that's my most viewed clip on all of YouTube. That interception, I just loved it. It was art. It was a piece of art. But yeah, I'm with you, Brian. That could be the most fun game this week.
That could be.
That could.
Yeah, I'll have an eye on that. Any other thoughts from last week? The only thing I really have, other than what we've already talked about, is it's a lot of duds. We're looking for some breakouts from some of our biggest stars. Jamar Chase laid the biggest egg ever last week. He was virtually on the milk carton. He's missing. Nico Collins. I just knew Nico Collins was coming out with the vengeance. He laid a dud. There's a couple of other guys. So I'm expecting some of those people that didn't play well last week to probably like really blow up.
I did have one last thing from week 1.
Yeah.
Is JJ like that, or should we just hang it up for the Bears this season? Is probably my last thoughts from week 1, because I enjoyed that game a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what to take from it. I don't know. Should I take from it the Bears is just hot doo-doo garbage, or JJ's just like that? So that's just my last thoughts of week 1.
That's a good question.
The Bears are funny. I'm still of the opinion. I don't know anything yet about the Bears or Detroit. Detroit got destroyed, but the question we were all wondering was, what are they going to look like losing both their offensive and defensive coordinators, right? And we used to them hanging 35, 40 points on people, and they must have were 13.
Mm-hmm.
Running backs can get over 50 yards between the two of them. It was crazy. So I don't know how much of that was week 1 or how much of that was my offensive coordinator's goal. The defensive coordinator, that game could have been worse than what it was, right? Defensive coordinator's in Chicago now.
No,
in
New York.
I saw some positives
right?
from Chicago is my thing. I don't know.
Detroit's defensive coordinator
is in New York, right?
No, Detroit's defensive coordinator is in New England.
Yeah. No.
Well,
Detroit's defensive coordinator. I thought he was the.
He's in New England.
Detroit. I don't know.
Am I tripping? Is that not Detroit's defensive coordinator we got in New England?
I could have sworn it's the Jets head coach.
Yeah. Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. And the offense is the.
What do we get?
Yeah, and
I was gonna say, like, am I going crazy?
Ben Johnson's with Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I am correct. Yes. Okay.
I'm gonna clock into a mental. Who did New England get as their new defensive coordinator?
Y'all get an assistant or something?
Let me look.
Did we get an assistant? Maybe it was
Terrell Williams. I don't know who that is.
That's because I was gonna. Jawan almost made me go crazy.
Now, for a minute, I had to think about it. Was something missed carpet? Did I miss something?
Wait, did Terrell not come from Detroit?
No, he did not.
Where'd he come from?
Oh, he was their defensive line coach. Sorry, yes.
Defensive
line coach. Okay,
yes.
I'm like, bro, we got somebody.
Okay.
We got somebody.
And so you mentioned Chicago, and the question was, is Ben Johnson, what Caleb Williams needs, right? Is this what, his offensive genius, his mind? I don't know. Like, even in that Chicago game, I saw a lot of positives in that game that I may not have seen last year. I'm going to give it a little bit. I'm going to give it a couple of more games. That's potentially a rough division, new coaching staff, a totally new system. I'm going to give it a couple of games before I totally say that the Bears is still going to be trash, right? I want to see some things, right? I want to see some things.
I forgot Prime wasn't going, or I forgot Source wasn't going to be here. I had so much Jared Goff slander prepared because of after last week, and then when he wasn't here, I was like, oh, I got nobody to unleash it again, so I just had to let it here. It'll hold for the next time we are on here together, so I can just let him know. I'm hoping
write it down.
I hope he don't have a monster week this week.
Well, yeah, if he does, then he'll never know. Like, you know?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Cause I'm gonna tell you, he don't forget things. So he write things down. So I'm gonna tell y'all now. So yeah, if some of you want to hold, write it down. Write it down. But yeah, but that makes that interesting. Like I said, that Bears Detroit game is gonna be interesting now today. Like something to watch. Detroit, are they still suffering from what they suffered from last week? Is this the time that Caleb Williams comes out and lights them up? We don't know. That's gonna be a fun game to watch. And it's great because it's crazy. We leave out of week 1 with KC, Detroit, and Baltimore going 0-2. So we're watching all of them today, right?
Yeah.
Now I will say this. Speaking of today's game or games, that's going to be fun. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look over the entire schedule. I would say if there is one game that I am definitely interested in, it would have to do with these two guys right here. All right. Last time the two of these guys were on the same field together. We got Penix and McCarthy in the national championship game, of course, with McCarthy and Michigan coming out on top. We have the matchup this week with Minnesota and the Atlanta Falcons. I really like this game, man. I really like this game. I'm looking forward to it going down. That's going to be the NBC game. I believe that's the night game.
Yeah, that's the night game.
That's a night game. Really looking interesting. Both of them had their ups and downs last week. I really like what McCarthy did. Shook off, some bugs early in the game. Didn't look good. Near interceptions, things in it, and had a couple of conversations with the coach. You saw him over there talking with JJ, and then darn, what a second half for JJ McCarthy. So, this is to me another one of those fun games, and I'm kind of glad it's a standalone game. So I'm gonna be very, very interested to see how this comes, how this pans out.
This game, like Atlanta, I know they lost last week, but they looked pretty good. Like Bijan had like that 50-yard run that he got off. They were in position to at least take it to overtime, and then Younghoe Koo just missed the kick. He got benched for that. Crazy. Like I didn't know they had a kicker on standby ready for that, which is insane. But I think this is going to be a really interesting game now. Just because we need to figure out it, like I think it was Jawan that questioned it earlier. Is JJ for real, or is the Bears just that bad?
Because I will say, Didge, and this might be me just prisoner of the moment, right? But if that is the real JJ, I'm looking at a year or two from now, this team's starting to look how the Packers are starting to look. That's how good I thought he looked as he went through the progression of that game. And if that is the real him, he's only going to get better. If that's not the real him, it still is impressive because it shows you where he could be. That's why I think you're in a really good spot if you're the Vikings. Because, future looks great. You have a transcendent talent at wide receiver to help this kid out at any given point. I think you fix stuff up on defense. I think this team could be a team that could be a dark horse sooner rather than later. Again, maybe not this year. Okay. But like I said, their window is probably starting to open within the next year or two.
Yeah. I mean,
that's why this team is going to be one I pay very close attention to, because I was very impressed with what I saw. Just the precise throws he was making. That one late touchdown, those throws were extremely crisp.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm like, I'm going to be paying close attention to the Vikings now going forward.
Definitely more confident about their prospects now than I was going into the season. And that's not even necessarily me saying like, oh, I think they're going to be amazing or whatever, but I was just like, this is essentially his rookie year, obviously,
Yeah.
And throwing a rookie quarterback on a 14-3 team, who knows what was going to happen there.
That may have been to his benefit though, because he had to sit there behind, Darnold the whole year.
Yeah, fair.
So like that may have worked to his advantage, but he looks
great.
great.
Because they were, if the rumors were true, they were really bent on getting him on the field last year. Like, before he got, as far as the injury, the whole situation, they were really bent on being a starter, like getting him at some point. He's going to be the starter for their team, and they'd figure out everything else, later. But what happened, of course, Darnold, the injury, Darnold had the year that he had, and then, here we are. So, but that's a great point, though, Joel. That's a great point.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, it could have been very helpful for him to sit behind Darnold the whole year. They say that.
Speaking of Darnold, and then the team we were just talking about, the Seahawks and Steelers played today.
That's fair.
Yeah, so Darnold's facing his old team, and DK be facing his old team. So there's another one there. I don't know. Is there any other games that you guys see on the schedule that are interesting to you?
Let's see that we haven't talked about. Let me go back to it.
I'll say this while I did just looking. I am interested in you and Joel's game. I am very interested. Because remember, I was telling Didge, I think maybe he didn't give that front line of Dallas. I think maybe he was a little too rough on him.
On the Giants front line.
No. Remember last week, because you were saying that Dallas didn't get any.
Their offensive front line. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm looking to see kind of how they look this week. And it's also a good week for Giants to learn from all that foolish boo-boo-ness that they did last week and improve this week so that I can have more confidence going into week 3 against Kansas City. So I'm very interested in that game. Divisional games are always fun. So I'm very much looking for that game.
Yeah, that Cowboys. So last week, the Cowboys, it was kind of crazy to try to judge the pass rush for me because realistically, Hurts was just picking lanes. The lanes were there. The Cowboys refused to spy on him, especially in the first half. And, so it was kind of hard to judge it because he would just take off and run. Now, I do feel like in that fourth quarter, there was some pressure there. The pressure started to get some. They made some adjustments in that game, and they even played a little bit of a spy. Still got caught out of place a couple of times, and I did see some pressure there. There's some things for the Cowboys to figure out, but it could be interesting. And of course, as we talked about earlier, Joel, that you guys allowing pressure on 36% of Russ's dropbacks. So the thing is, can the Cowboys get a pass rush? Can you guys protect Russ today? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That if he's running, at least if he's running, it's by design instead of
Yeah, that's another thing. We were very weak against the run going into the year, and we didn't do a great job last week either. So they ran the shit out of right through us. So it'll be a struggle to do that too. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Because again, maybe it's just a week 1 thing. You never know. Happen.
Yeah.
So maybe this week they'll at least they'll maybe improve on certain things.
We have no plan. No Bland out.
That's right. There's no Bland. So should be some openings. We'll see.
Yeah, Bland is out for us today too. So is Diggs gonna follow? Attempt to follow Neighbors, or what are we doing here? Or what the deal is? I don't know.
They'll probably follow him outside, though. Maybe not inside, but they'll probably follow him outside.
Yeah, that is going to be a very interesting game. So, of course, you and I are both interested in that.
Yeah.
Y'all see anything else on the schedule? Let me say this, not to cut you off. If nothing else, the Jags and the Bengals, because is there going to be at any point that we get to see Chase lined up somewhere with Travis Hunter on the other side? I know Hunter is like the third corner. I know Hunter's the third corner. Third corner.
This man through that?
Or can you scheme it?
Okay.
Can you scheme it? I mean, we know that Jamar Chase, as dangerous as he is, a lot of those sets when they move him into even the slot.
No,
I'm telling you
right now. If at any point they move Jamar and he's looking at Travis, go zone. Call timeout. Do something. don't do that to that boy.
What you say? Call the fire department.
Yeah, his welcome to the NFL moment should not be this week. Negatively, it should not be this week. No, don't do that.
I was gonna say the game that I'm interested in just seeing is the San Fran New Orleans game, just because because there's no Purdy, right? And New Orleans is completely widely picked as the worst team in the league. Like I saw them already saying like, yeah, we gonna get Arch next year now. Arch hits draft stock might have took a hit last night. So we'll see. Look, so but if you're telling me that this San Francisco team is just a team that needs to get healthy and they're going to be a problem, this is a game that they should still win. Now, if they come out and just a complete dud, then it's probably a little bit more than just injuries is showing why they're not doing what they should be.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
That is interesting. Now you saying that, you know that means that Rattler throwing for 300 today, right?
That'd be crazy. I forgot Rattler was their quarterback, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, Shaheed and Olave combined for like 3 scores. I mean, just because you said that.
And they very well could. It's in New Orleans, so you know.
I will say, last thing, it's not a game, it's more of storylines. I think 2 big storylines are very important this week. The fact that the Eagles had to come out and say we plan to throw to A.J. Brown early lets you know they recognize it was a problem last week. And I think there is something there to keep an eye on. And I think Tyreek Hill is something to keep an eye on. Because those are probably the 2 biggest names that I'm pretty sure if that organization can shed that cap, and still find a way to be successful, or if Miami can shed it and find a way to rebuild off of shedding it, they're going to look to do it. It's just a headache you don't need for an organization that's really struggling. And for A.J. Brown, I kind of feel like last week was a testament to them kind of showing him, relax, we can win a game without you. Like, relax, you know what I'm saying? So I think those 2 storylines are definitely the biggest ones to look out for, because I would not be shocked if either one of those guys are not still on the same team by deadline.
Yeah, my man Liddy in the comments, he said that he'd love to have Tyreek back. And I know that the Dolphins keep pressing to say that they're not going to trade him. And of course, you got to keep an eye on all this outside stuff, make sure that none of this legal stuff comes into play with him. But I was saying after last week, especially, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm inquiring about bringing them back at this point.
You
want to get the offense going. You keep having the situations between the injuries and suspension. I'm trying to find a way to get this man back.
Here's my only issue, Prime. From a personal standpoint and a business standpoint, sending him to Kansas City makes no sense if you're Miami. Business-wise, it makes no sense because you can send him to one of those horrible teams that feels as though they got their young quarterback, they maybe need a Tyreek Hill. They're going to give you a first-round pick, right? Kansas City's first-round pick will have no value, absolutely no value, right? I mean, you could always be a great, picker in the draft and find a diamond in the rough, but no, you can find a worse team to send Tyreek Hill to. And on a personal level, no way does someone make me go through what this man has made the Dolphins go through and me send you where you want to go or where you can immediately win. Absolutely not. I'm sending you to Siberia of the NFL, right? Get my first
Tyreek Hill, you are a New Orleans Saint.
Exactly. Get my first round pick, and I can properly rebuild or somewhat rebuild this team so we can have some modicum of success going forward. So that's why I wouldn't send them to Kansas City.
Yeah, Liddy, if you still in here, bro, what would you think? And if I'm Kansas City, I'm not trying to get rid of this guy because there is a situation right now where they're trying to get him a contract extension. And it's one of my favorite guys, but there's a situation with Trent McDuffie, the corner, who I'm interested to see, Jawan, how much he is matched up with A.J. Brown today. McDuffie is one of them dudes, man. McDuffie balls. But is there a possibility that you include him in a trade if need be? If you don't feel you can get this contract thing worked out, right?
Yeah.
Do you include him in a trade? And for Miami, I'm definitely thinking about it. They've lost a lot in that secondary. And what we saw last week, I'm just saying, you're not going to fix everything offensively overnight.
No.
I mean, you already got questions about should Tua even be your starting quarterback right now? So it's gonna take some pieces. But I'm thinking about it, man. I'm thinking about it. I'm entertaining it.
You're not necessarily wrong, but what I think hurts the NFL as a whole is you can't have more Dallas Packers trades. You know what I'm saying? You can't have more trades where you're sending a massive talent and you're essentially getting back a maybe. I think that's horrible for the league.
McDuffie's no slouch, though. McDuffie.
No. I'm not
Kenny
saying
Clark either. Like, what we doing? Kenny Clark.
No, Ditch. I'm just saying, would you put him on the same level as Micah Parsons or anywhere?
I mean, no, but still.
So all I'm saying is that
he's still a multiple Pro Bowler.
No disrespect to him. I'm just saying somewhere in your package of what you get back should at least accumulate to what you gave up. And I think when we start seeing the days where it's not, I think that's bad for it. Because think about it. If Tyreek Hill can essentially say, I want to go to Kansas City, and you make that happen, even if you do get back that cornerback, I think it starts to set a bad trend. Because let's say AJ Brown does want to leave. He now can just say, I want to go to New England, and now you got to ship him to New England. And whatever you get back is just whatever you get back.
So then why are you bringing this up as if that's a bad thing?
Because I'm saying you don't want more of that. Right? Because then what
I
happens?
do if it gets me AJ Brown. What you mean?
Joel, to bring you into this conversation, because I know you're not usually interested in this kind of conversation. Let's bring you into this. You saw how upset Neighbors looked. Do you want that man saying he wants out? And if he doesn't,
I lived through that already once. I'm good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you want to kind of start to make it a lot harder for people to just say, there, send me there. Right? And now you're acquiescing to it. And I'm not saying Micah asked to go to Green Bay. But I'm just saying you kind of want to make it hard for guys to do that. So for me, it's just like, let's get back to the days of when Pop sent Kawhi to fucking Toronto, right? Let's get back to that. Let's get those good feelings back. Where we're just like, oh shit, he made the best of a horrible situation. Let's get that for all the sports, right? We're not just getting crazy pendulum swings from these trades. That's all.
Yeah, it was crazy. Great point. And what's crazy, you mentioned Micah. I saw this before we came on. They said that actually the Jets and the Cowboys were talking as far as Micah going to the Jets. But Jerry wanted Quentin Williams. And then they want to talk about a pick or two here and there. And because Jerry and Steven are intent on stopping the run. So they want to plug somebody in there, right? Plug somebody on that line. They said the Jets immediately, they got off the phone. They're not giving up.
Hey, let me give Jets props for being one of the worst.
I would love that. I would love that.
Congratulations, Jets.
I was so happy seeing that. I was like, yes. Yes.
Congratulations.
We loved it. We love the incompetence of the Jets organization.
He's out of conference.
Yep.
And Quentin Williams a baller. So, so I understand. I'm Aaron Glenn. I'm going to be shutting this down, bro. No. And that's pretty much all I got. You guys got anything?
I'm looking at Don's.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's what you were looking for earlier. That's 49ers.
I mean, look,
I can see
this. This might be one of the times where defense has to literally be your offense.
It has to be. No, because they do still got Christian McCaffrey, who is clearly sacrificing every other Niners player to stay healthy. But that's neither here nor there. It's either he's either going to have a monster game, or it's two defensive pick sixes. And again, I could see it. The Saints are not great. The Saints.
They play the Saints.
They're not great. So it's like I'm not going to be surprised. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
On the opposite, if the Saints somehow win this game, I'd be terrified as a Niners fan.
I tell you right now. Jones has 3 to 4 touchdowns. I'm throwing up. If he got 3 to 4 touchdowns, 300 yards, I'll throw up. I'll definitely throw up for sure. 100%.
Yeah, I think the last thing for me is as I'm looking down this schedule here, but make sure I'm looking at it correct here, because this is the week. Yeah, I need my guy, Bo Nix to bounce back. I know I was hyping Bo Nix last week, but he had a horrible game last week.
He did.
I just don't know what happened.
They got the win.
I need Bo to play better.
Help my fantasy team did.
And he's got a grand opportunity because the Colts are down both of their starting corners. So Bo, do something. Do something, Bo. Don't make me look bad 2 weeks in a row.
Wait, they play the Colts?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a wrap, Prime. You got one of the best and brightest quarterbacks on the other side of Bo Nix. It's a wrap, dog. Just hang that up.
What up?
That's it.
Hang that up.
If Daniel Jones goes
Bless.
in here after all we talked about how Denver's secondary can look, and Daniel Jones goes in here and just dominates, I might be on here next week crying.
Hey, Prime. It's a wrap for Bo Nix this week.
Hey, man. I ain't talking about them winning, Juwan. Look, I just need. Well, first of all, Sean Payton started after all that promise last week. I don't know if I'm trying to see that, right? But what I'm saying is, even if Daniel Jones plays out of his mind, say the Colts win this game, I just want you to understand. I just need Bo Nix to look better.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them are talking fantasy. Neither of them care about the actual outcome of the game.
It's fantasy, and I like Bo Nix. Like I can't look. I've been on a hot streak, especially with Source about players that I say was, I just about everybody I told him was going to be something. I told him way back when in the draft that Mahomes was going to be the dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
I told him last year. I think I told y'all last year. And he's I said it. I said after the draft, I said, you know what? I don't care. I know Genty. All those cats. Not Genty. Draft for last, but I said last year's draft. I said that Brock Bowers, was the best player in that draft. I felt.
Man, it will be.
He did nothing to let me down last year, right?
Hey man,
and you see the type of game he was having last week before he got nicked up, and he said he's playing today. I'm just saying. I'm not saying Bo Nix is that dude, but I think Bo Nix has the potential to be a top 5 or 6 quarterback in this league. I do, especially with Sean Payton coaching. So if nothing else, Broncos, y'all can lose today if you want. But come on, Bo.
Just put up some numbers
today, baby. Make a brother look good.
What, Joel? Wasn't there a wrestler that said "I believe in Bo"? Wasn't that a thing in NXT? There you go, Prime. Bo leave. There you go.
Wow, I heard that.
All you need is the Bo leave.
Bo leave is crazy.
That's it. It'll be good. Just Bo leave, buddy.
It's Bo Dallas.
My guy. So I was talking that year, and I'm thinking about this year with Jensen. And now my guy that I like in this past draft with Jensen and them actually did show out last week. If you do y'all remember a guy's name I brought up? They got busy last week. Matter of fact, he won his team the game. And he called his shot. Yeah.
He did?
He called his shot. Mike Evans said, remember he scored twice last week. That touchdown that won the game, Mike Evans said he walked up to him. And Booker walked up and told him. He called his shot. I'm going to win this game.
Prime. Hold on. That kid plays for what team?
He played for the Bucs.
The team. The quarterback that you were hating on last week. Didn't I tell you?
No. Who threw him the ball?
Baker Mayfield.
So the kid was open last week, huh?
Who was telling you that Baker was going to? Who was telling that Baker was better than? Remember last week?
I'm out.
Remember last week how much you were hating on Baker?
I'm out. Just because.
No, I don't want to hear. You don't get a chance. You don't get a chance to do this with how much you were hating on Baker last week.
I did not hate on Baker.
Yes, you did.
I can see a world where if I had to choose with the guy who keeps making it deep into the postseason, into the Super Bowl, I can see that guy being a top 10 quarterback.
Clearly, you are not a Baker boy, as you were saying that you were.
No. I coined the phrase Baker
boys. You clearly are
okay?
not a Baker boy.
I coined the phrase
crazy.
Baker boys. All right.
I'm gonna have to let him know and all the other Baker boys that dang Juwan turned.
No, there are no other Baker boys. Okay, all right. There are no other Baker boys. It's not a club.
You were Purdy. You were out. You part of the Purdy party. I don't know. Give them a nickname.
What? The Purdy party?
I don't know.
The Purdy party is hysterical.
That's nasty, though.
Indeed. So,
I love it.
Please end it after that. That was
Purdy party.
But yeah, last year for me it was Brock. This year it's a Mecca and Ibuka. So I'm on a bit of a hot streak. So I hope they can keep that going. All right. But that's it, man. It's about game time. We're about to kick off. Hope everybody's team does well. Appreciate you guys.
Right.
Always. And look, what I'm gonna do, guys. Appreciate having you guys on. Look, I'm just gonna send the link every week. Jump on any week that you are free. You're welcome to come on any week, whatever you want to do. jump on. If you can get on, we love it. If you can't, we understand. I understand people got other engagements, but you guys are welcome any and every week throughout the season. So the link will be there. So jump in if you want to and if you can. All right.
Appreciate it.
This is the SBP, y'all. We signing out. Good luck to everybody's teams. And we catch you next time. We out.
I don't think